everyone, it's Sarah here. It's summer and it's getting hot out. So I wanted to share one of my favorite, inexpensive and easy to do resiliency boosters, which is hydration. So for those of you that work with me, I know you've heard me talk about hydration a lot, but hang in there because I have a lot of good information here that I think can help. Also, if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to show you a way that you can identify if you're dehydrated, and here's a little tip, most of us are and we don't even know it. And also ways that you can start to increase your hydration and feel those wonderful effects. So my intention with these vlogs is always to inspire thriving in our lives, and hydration is just such an easy way that we can start to get on that path. As you know, breathing and water are essential to life. So our bodies are made up of 70% water. That's a lot. And that water is necessary for all or most of the functioning of our major systems of the body. Also, it acts like a conduit to sort of send information around our bodies. So super important to stay hydrated. So let me explain how dehydration can affect your brain, your body, and your well-being. So did you know that 1 to 2% of dehydration can create a loss of cognitive function, leading to things like brain fog, lack of focus, poor concentration, and affect our decision-making skills? Not to mention, if it's our mind, it can affect our mood and, of course, our well-being. So from a physical perspective, our bodies are connected through the fascial system. So this is, as you can see in this picture, a web-like sort of connective tissue that is hydrated. You can see the drops of water there. And it helps our bodies move without pain and dysfunction. Not to mention, it supports all the organs, and it's actually in our organs, this tissue, and helps them function well. So if we're dehydrated, it moves more like sandpaper. And you can imagine what sandpaper is like. It's going to create things like inflammation, leading to, again, painful joints and a body that's not functioning as well. So water is also used to detox every cell in our body. And through a hydrated kidney, our skin, our bowels, and what's the other one? Kidneys, lungs. We excrete all those toxins. So we want to keep those things hydrated and also have our cells hydrated so we can kind of flush out those toxins. You can imagine with so much riding on hydration, without it, we might naturally feel crappy, slow, possibly sick, and uninspired for our life. And did you know that thirst is actually the last sign of dehydration? So let's just talk a little bit about the quality of your water. I'm going to offer some suboptimal choices. There's many different types of water that I could go into, but we're just going to stay basic. So I'm going to offer a couple suboptimal, and then I'm going to give you some optimal water choices that you can choose. So let's start with the suboptimal. Number one, our tap water, unfortunately. So depending on where you live, municipal tap water can have many contaminants in it. So according to the US EPA, some of the contaminants in the US drinking water can include nitrogen, bleach, salts, pesticides, heavy metals, toxins produced by bacteria, and human or animal drugs. So if you live in the States, you can actually consult the Environmental Working Group's database or tap water database. You just plug in your zip code and it'll tell you what's in your water. So I've left that in the show notes below. Unfortunately, we don't have something like that in Canada. However, you can do some testing for your water to figure out what's in it and what the contaminants are. Another one I like to avoid, yet I am guilty of using it when I'm traveling, is plastic bottled water. So we know now that plastic is a real problem in our environment, so using less of it is a good thing. But also, it's not just for the environment, it's actually not a good thing for our bodies. So what plastic leaches is something called xenoestrogens, and these are hormone disruptors. So the worst thing we can do with our bottled water is we can keep it in the sun, which leaches those xenoestrogens more, or we can keep it in the cold in the fridge, which does the same. So you want to keep it out of those things if you are drinking them, but keep in mind they still are sort of eliciting those xenoestrogens into the water. So the last one I'm going to talk about on the suboptimal list is distilled water. So this is where they take everything out of the water, especially even the electrolytes, which are needed to hydrate. So the electrolytes basically bring water into our cells. And also these electrolytes also help with the functioning of many of our body systems. So super important that we maintain them. If you drink distilled water, that can actually excrete those electrolytes from your system. So we want to avoid that as well. So here are some of my top optimal choices. So it's expensive, but it's one of my preferred ways. I don't do it. I'm going to give you my other options. But the best way, I think, is natural spring water that's stored in glass. So Evian and Mountain Valley are two of them. There are probably more. I haven't seen Fiji, which I love the taste of Fiji, but I've not seen it in glass. I'm sure they do it somewhere, but I haven't seen it in my neighborhood. So with spring water, we're getting less contaminants and the abundance of those electrolytes. So again, though, we still have that expense issue. So I'm going to move down to two other options that I use. And the first one is a reverse osmosis with activated charcoal or activated carbon that adds back in the electrolytes. And I found the Cadillac of this system in the AquaTrue. Now, I'm not getting paid for this. I don't have any kickbacks, but it's just simply a system that I use and love. If you're looking to purchase this product, you can go through Dr. Hyman's website and you can get a discount. I think I got 10 or 20% off Dr. Mark Hyman, who is the functional medicine person at the Cleveland Clinic, doctor at the Cleveland Clinic. So he's got a great website with lots of great information about health too. As for the more inexpensive option, and this is what I use at my studio, is I use just a general sort of countertop active carbon filter system. And they've been proven to take out a lot of the stuff in our water. Some say that they don't remove all the nitrates and bacteria and viruses, and they might even take out some of the electrolytes. So what I do with that is I just add the electrolytes back in. Like I said, electrolytes are super important because they help us hydrate, and they also, again, support the functions of our body. So adding electrolytes back into your water is very simple. You can do it through just a simple pinch of sea salt. I like Celtic sea salt because they manufacture it really well. They don't wash the sea salt, so you'll notice it's really gray, and that maintains all the minerals and electrolytes that we need. So I've left it in the show notes below. Also, you can add a slice of lemon or lime. Okay, so now that you have all the options, I have a suggestion for you. First, let's check to see if your skin may be dehydrated. And we're going to do the 3-second skin pinch here.
This is a 3-second skin pinch test, so you can do this with your hand lying on something. You don't do it above because we just want to have the hand in a rested position. What this identifies is the level of hydration in your fascial system in your skin, which can be an indication of systemic hydration or dehydration. So all you're going to do is you're going to take the top of your skin, you're going to hold it up for 3 seconds, 2, 1, let it go, and if it goes back quickly, that usually means you're hydrated. Now remember, it's all subjective to you, so I would do this over a course of the week and see as you go through your week how it moves from one day to the next. So the slower it is, obviously the more dehydrated we are. The faster it is, the more hydrated we are.
Now I want to invite you on how hydration can work for you in a 7-day experiment. So I have to be honest, I kind of copied this from a terrific podcast on water with Drew Perowit. I hope I said his name right. It's in the link below, his podcast, but he's a podcast host and he's a serial entrepreneur and investor in the health and fitness industry. And I kind of liked his podcast, so you might want to check him out. But he suggested a 7-day challenge, but I'm going to make it more like an experiment and I'm going to tweak it a bit for you. So what I suggest is when you wake up tomorrow morning, what you can do is the first thing you can do is just take two cups of water, which is equivalent to about 16 ounces, or one of these. These are about 17 ounces. Okay, you want to drink that before you do anything, and then go about your morning, have your coffee, your breakfast, maybe somewhere in the morning, drink another 16 ounces if you can. And then after lunch, you might want to do it again. So this is kind of getting that adequate hydration. And if you don't want to drink that much water, drink to what you feel will work for you. Any type of sort of focus on this will help. So 2 things about drinking water. First of all, don't drink it in the afternoon, like late in the afternoon, because you're going to get up in the middle of the night peeing. The other thing that you might want to do is you don't want to drink water during a meal. And this isn't for everybody, but this is for me and for many people I know. The reason being is water has a pH of 7, which is kind of middle line on the alkaline acidic scale. and stomach acid has a pH of 1, which is really acidic, and we need that to kind of chop up our food and disintegrate it. So drinking water might dilute, and I feel like it does when I drink water with a meal. It dilutes my hydrochloric acid, so I don't feel like I'm digesting my food as well. So don't take it from me, try it for yourself and see how you feel with it. A great tip on creating a hydration habit is queuing. So like I said, I keep my bottle of water around so I can see it, and they're pretty, so I like drinking from it. Also at work, I keep my Brita around so it's in my line of sight and I keep going back to it. So having cues are really important. One of the things I would suggest tonight is just leave your glass of water or your water bottle on your bedstand. And when you wake up in the morning, it's right there. You can drink it. There's no hassle and you get right to it. So how will you know this works? Well, you can go back to every day just doing that 3-second skin pinch. You can also start to feel your body, and this is something that I really promote a lot with people, is we live so much up here that we don't actually start to feel how our health practices may be having an effect on our body. So do you feel more energy? Does your body feel less creaky when you get out of bed during the week? Do you have better concentration? Do you generally feel a little bit better, increased mood, these types of things? So just to pay attention. It's one of the best things you can do for your body. I hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you in the next vlog. But in the meantime, I would really love to see how you're experiencing this hydration experiment. So you can leave it in the show notes below, and I will see you next time.